good everyone? It's Steve from SnkrTechTalk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be doing a performance review on the Nike Jaw 3. Now, full disclaimer, I already have a performance review on my channel of this model in the max volume pink colorway, but I went with a size 11 in those, and once they broke in, honestly, the fit was rather sloppy. I had a full thumbs width at the end of the shoe. The fit was just off for me, so I did go down half a size to a size 10.5, and I've played in this colorway here for over 20 hours. So without further ado, let's get into the Nike Jaw 3 performance review. All right, so as always, first things first, on the traction for the Nike Jaw 3, you are getting this outsole with all of these little Jaw logos right here. This is a translucent rubber compound here at the bottom of this pair, and how these perform on clean floors is elite. They have such a loud squeak. They come to a screeching halt. This is a great traction pattern, one of, if not the best out from Nike right now. Now, where this outsole struggles, and you can probably see that reason right here on the bottom, is dust. These collect a ton of dust, and these have been wiped and cleaned recently. When I went around 10 hours without cleaning the outsole, these were like caked. They were barely green anymore. They were turning brown. So these collect a ton of dust. If you're playing on your local YMCA floor or your local rec gym floor that has a lot of dust where people kind of walk through the gym, it's going to be rather problematic. You're not going to slide out and hurt yourself, but you will slide to a stop and they will become less squeaky on court. So keep that in mind. The traction is elite on clean floors. On dirty floors, you're gonna have to wipe. But honestly, it wasn't a huge issue for me. It was just one of those issues that was painful because they collected a ton of dust. But if you're wiping, it's really a non-factor. And that's why these are gonna score a solid 9 out of 10. Now, as far as the cushioning goes, I do really enjoy this setup, but just keep one thing in mind. This ZoomX compound in this shoe is a recycled version of ZoomX, so it will break down quicker than their more premium version of ZoomX. A lot of runners with ZoomX in their running over 300 miles of use in that shoe. You're not going to get that out of this because ZoomX with the recycled version is more of an open cell version of ZoomX, and it breaks down rather quickly. I believe the top portion is your standard ZoomX, but the bottom under portion is the recycled version, and that's where it will become problematic. But while it lasts, the underfoot comfort at the back specifically is insanely bouncy, very plush at the back. In the forefoot, it is a bit closer to the floor, not quite as close to the floor as like a Kobe, but it is enjoyable for court feel up front and great impact protection at the back. It is kind of caged all the way around the shoe with this rubber outsole right here. It does wrap up for stability, for that side-to-side stability, because if that wasn't there, this would be very tippy with that ZoomX. But overall, it's a very plush setup. I do enjoy this setup. Would I have preferred Zoom Air? Probably. This is one of Nike's best implementations of ZoomX so far. This is far better than the Nike GT Cut 3 in my opinion. So as far as the cushioning goes, these are going to get a very solid 9 out of 10. Now, as far as the fit go, that's where it was problematic with the size 11. Now, in the max volume pair, the pink pair, once those broke in, this fit became very sloppy. On the hard lateral cuts, my foot was kind of moving side to side within the shoe, and the laces were like cranked down. I had a full thumbs width at the end of the shoe in the size 11. So I did opt to go down half a size to a 10.5, but to break these in, I could not wear the insole. It was too snug. I had to pop the insole out. That created a little bit of extra room to the point where, the shoe is very narrow, but it created a little bit of extra room to the point where I could actually hoop in them and break them in and soften up the materials a bit more. And then once I did that, I threw the insole back in the shoe, as you can see right here, and it just creates a very snug one-to-one fitting shoe. I have a little less than a pinky's width at the end of the shoe. Like, my toe is right here. A tiny bit of room, but I got rid of that kind of lateral side to side problem where there was more room within the side of the shoe in a US size 11. With the 10.5, I did get rid of that. As far as the fit as well, you have a ton of padding at the back of the shoe. You do have a gusseted tongue right here, and the tongue is nicely padded as well. So going true to size for me did work out, but if you are a wide footer, I would highly recommend trying these on in store or just going up half a size from the jump, because as you can see here on the outsole, right here at the midfoot, these are extremely narrow. But for me, as far as the fit goes, I'm going to give these a pretty solid 8.5 out of 10. And then as far as the weight goes on the Nike Jaw 3 in a US 10.5, these come in at 14.8 and 14.6 ounces. So all things considered, that's a pretty average weight for my size 10.5 in most hoop shoes. Then as far as the materials go, keep in mind this shoe retails for $160 or $170 here in Canada, around $130 USD. So you're not getting anything premium. You are getting kind of this standard mesh material on the upper, wrapped all the way around the shoe. No leathers, no suedes, but you are getting these TPU overlays that are jaw logos, so it does look pretty aggressive. The tongue does have a synthetic leather at the top of the tongue and then some mesh below that, so it's pretty breathable, and the break-in period is pretty quick because this material isn't overly thick or like a raw cut. So overall the materials are pretty cheap, but keep in mind the price point isn't anything insane. So as far as the materials go on the Nike Jaw 3s, I'm going to give these a 7 out of 10. And then as far as the support goes in this model right here, that is where this shoe really does shine. Now at the back of the shoe, you can kind of see the heel counter. It's kind of like a half circle right here, and it is like insanely rigid. You can barely squish this heel counter right here. You get a ton of support at the back of the shoe right here. Moving your way down from that, you do have this rubber that does wrap up on the side lateral wall, and your foot is seated housed within that. So on hard lateral cuts, coupled with these TPU overlays, this is all helping aid your foot to stay on the footbed. But you have to get your proper size, because I went up to size 11 in my initial performance review, and it was problematic with this shoe right here. You have a decently wide and stable base right here in the forefoot, not really an outrigger right here on the outsole. And I do believe these have a top loaded shank plate, so they are pretty rigid right here at the midfoot while maintaining nice forefoot flex. These have a pretty traditional lacing system right here. So if you really crank down the laces and you have your proper fit within the shoe, you're not going to have too many or any issues as far as the support goes. So for me, positions 1 through 5 can play in the shoe without having too many hiccups. The Nike Jaw 3 is definitely his most supportive shoe to date. And that's why the support's going to score a solid 9 out of 10. And then last but not least, the design of this shoe. I really can't state this enough. This is Nike's best looking basketball shoe on the market right now. I just really love this aggressive looking design right here with the jaw logos on the outsole, the little TPU overlay jaw logos right here. The swoosh is a J, and then there is an outline right here for an A for his name on the side of the shoe. The colorways have been elite so far. This Halloween zombie colorway is fantastic. It glows in the dark. It just looks amazing, and the design is amazing. So I'm really happy with what the brand has done with his third signature shoe, because for me, his first two were pretty bland and didn't really speak to the player that he is. But on the Nike Jaw 3s, these are just amazing. For me, these get an absolute 10 out of 10. But that's going to do it for today's performance review on the Nike Jaw 3s. Sound off in the comments if you guys have played in them and what has your experience been thus far on his third signature shoe. I'm sure there's a ton of more colorways that the brand will be dropping that will be very, very sweet. As far as the overall looks and colorways go, this shoe has done amazing thus far. But again, sound off in the comments and let me know what you think of his third signature shoe as far as performance and aesthetics. But as always, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that would definitely help my channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at SnkrTechTalk, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and